All right, this is section 6.4. This is the percent equation. I prefer to do my percents with an equation, but I am going to show you another method next, which also works. So whichever you like better, you may use. I am going to be working with this page. You can feel free to take the notes on this page or get your own paper, whichever works better. Okay? Now, when we do the percent equation, all we have to do is turn the words into mathematical symbols. For instance, what number? Well, that's going to be N for number. Is always our equal sign. Of is always multiplication. The ED we can go ahead and rewrite. Now, we do have to be careful here. The one thing that we have to pay attention to is the percent has to be a decimal. So we're going to cross off that percent, move the decimal 2 times, so 0.35. Now, all we need to do is go ahead and multiply those numbers. You could either multiply them using the wall, as it is a decimal equation, or you may use your calculators. So when you do that, this is 0.35 times 80, and you could have just the 8 also, and that gives us 28. So what number, 28, is 35% of 80? Alrighty. So let's try this next one. This time it says what percent. So I am looking for the percent of is multiplication, and we have this 125. Is an equal sign, and 50. Now we want to solve this equation for the percent, for the P. So we want to get P alone. So that means we need to get rid of the 125. And to do that, we're going to do the opposite. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by that 125. Now, please be careful. This is going to be less than 1. It is going to be a decimal or a fraction, whichever you want to. Well, chances are you should go to a decimal because we want percent. So 50 over 125, we could reduce this, but instead, let's come over here. Let's do 50 divided by 125, and we get 0.4. Now that's not our percent, that is the decimal. So what we're going to do then is we're going to turn that into our percent. To turn it into our percent, we're going to move it 2 times bigger, which becomes 40%. Alrighty. So you can see we're able to form an equation from the words, and then we just have to solve. So in the next one, 8 is, that's our equal sign, what percent, so it's asking us the same thing, so I'm going to use P for percent, of as our multiplication, 5. Well, I want to solve for P, which means I need to get the 5 to the other side. To do that, I have to do the opposite or the inverse, which is instead of multiplication, it's going to be divide by 5. Okay. When I do that, I get my P is, all right, let's go over here, 8 divided by 5, which is 1.6, but I want a percent. So that means I'm going to move my decimal 2 times bigger, so that becomes 1, 6, and a 0. So 160%, because we know this is bigger than 1, so bigger than 100%. All right. Now, we will be having a lot of word problems in this unit, as a lot of this just lends itself to real world situations. For instance, you receive 15% of the profit from a car wash. How much money do you receive from a profit of $300? So, 15% of the profit, well, they told us the profit was $300, and they want to know how much that equaled. How much money? So what number is this? All right, so 15%, we're going to cross off the percent, move the decimal 2 times, so 0.15 of, we know is multiplication, 300. And that's going to give us how much money. So when we do that, we have 0.15 times 300, and that gives us $45. Now please be careful. It asked us how much money, and because this is money, I expect a dollar sign. You can also put 45 with the 2 zeros after if you like to write it that way. Either one of those would work. Alrighty.